We continue our lecture, part number 5. Example of calculating of visibility indicator. Often when conducting an analysis, it is not enough to determine the ownership, ranking and their difference. If it is necessary to demonstrate the domain dynamics of changes in compared date, you can use an indicator of visibility which shows how many percent the compared indicator was the value with which it was compared, the reference control. To do this, it is necessary to divide the compared date into the reference date and multiply it by 100. And to find out by how many percent the proportion of the compared indicator has become higher or lower in relation to the reference value, we calculate the growth decrease rate. To do this, we subtract 100 from the visibility indicator, and if we get values with minus sign, it means there is decrease or decrease, and plus indicates an increase. For example, we need to answer a research question of how much the proportion of students has changed as the course at university number 1 increases. Considering that the value of the first course is the reference value after equal, we select the cell with the compared date, right flash, select the cell with the reference values, right asterisk and 100. Press enter and get 87% and 1 point. To calculate the indicators for the following cells, double-click on the green square located in the lower right corner of the cell, which is highlighted when the cursor is positioned on this cell. At the same time, for each course, the reference value is the date of previous course. You see, it is table of number of students of 6 year. We find percent as E16 and E15. And we find 87 and 1 point percent. Conclusion. The proportion of second year students was 87 and 1%, 1 point percent of the first year students, and fifth year students accounted for 123 and 4 point percent of fourth year students. As you can see, an indicator of visibility of more than 100%, in this case 123 and 4 point percent, raises questions, less understanding and difficulties in making a conclusion. Therefore, it is recommended to use the gross loss rate, which better shows the situation which can be determined using the indicator of visibility. To do this, in the cell after equal, select the cell with the indicator of clarity for the second year, 87 and 1 point, and write minus 100, press enter and get the number minus 12 and 9 points. To calculate the indicators for the following cells, double-click on the green square located on the lower right corner of the cell, which is highlighted when the cursor is positioned on this cell. See all this minus 12 and 9, and the third course 20 minus 21 is 7, fourth course minus 14, 5 course plus 23 and 4 point, and 6 course minus 23 and 4%. Conclusions. Proportion of second year students decreased by 12 and 9% compared to the first and fifth year students outnumbered fourth year students by 23 and 4%. We suggest comparing with the conclusion obtained based on the indicator of clarity. Proportion of second year students was 87 and 1% of first year students, and fifth year students 123 and 4% of fourth year students. Each of the presented indicators can be used depending on the research question and context of the conclusion of the study.